I, 18 female, am the youngest of 4 kids. My siblings are male 31, female 28, and male 25. Our dad and stepmom raised us, and our bio mom lives in another country with her husband. She wants me and my siblings to spend Christmas with her this year and has offered to pay for our transport and visas. My siblings are all married and have kids and will bring their spouses and kids with them. Our mom's house is quite big, and she said she'd spread out air mattresses in the living room and there's a guest room. She didn't say anything specifically to me about where I'd be sleeping, so I assumed I'd be sleeping on one of the air mattresses. Well, one of my brothers told me that my mom expects me to sleep in a tent outside. I thought he was messing with me, but when I asked my mom about it, she did. Unfortunately, the conversation wasn't in English, but it basically went like this. Me: brother said that you expect me to sleep outside in a tent. Is this true? Mom: yeah, I thought you would be okay with having your own tent. Me: why didn't you talk to me about it? Mom: I didn't think it would be a problem. Is it a problem? Me: it is. I don't want to sleep outside. Mom: I don't know what you want me to do. There are too many of you. Me: can I sleep on the couch? Mom: no. Her husband's name likes to watch TV late. You'll be a nuisance. Me: I don't know then, but I'm not sleeping outside. I'd rather not go. My mom told all my siblings about the conversation, and now they're all mad at me and told me to suck it up and go. They said I'm being selfish and making a fuss about nothing, and that I couldn't expect any of them to sleep outside with their spouses or kids. I told my dad about it, and he's now royally angry with my mom and said that she's being a mega witch and alienating me on purpose, and they had a huge argument on the phone. My siblings are all mad at me for causing this. Edit: my mom lives in Western Europe, so it'll likely be very cold there and snow as well. Not the idiot. The fact that your stepdad wants to watch TV at night is more important than you being able to sleep inside. Tells you exactly where you stand in your mother's priority list. If your idiot siblings continue to pretend that sleeping outside in a tent during winter isn't a big deal, tell them that you accept their offer to switch beds with them. She wants you to sleep in a tent outside during winter? I wouldn't even make my dog sleep outside. I'm at a loss for words. What is she thinking? That's madness. Also, your siblings suck. There's no way I would be okay with my younger sibling sleeping in a tent outside at Christmas. There is a place indoors for OP to sleep. The mom and her husband just don't want to inconvenience themselves to accommodate her. Can you imagine the mom calling the daughter a nuisance and then getting mad about her not wanting to come? I can only imagine how the rest of the visit would go. I hope OP enjoys her Christmas with other people and tells mom and her flying monkeys to kick rocks. I'm gobsmacked on this one. Guess we know who the least favorite sibling is. I live in Western Europe. It's snowing outside as I type this. No way I'd sleep outside in this weather. And I somehow doubt OP's mom will provide the equipment necessary to sleep comfortably outside in sub-zero temperatures. The sleeping bags made for this alone are pretty expensive. It seems like something weird is going on here. Maybe mother really just wanted to see her grandkids and is trying to punish OP for not having any yet, or for having to invite her to seem fair when she really just wanted the other 3. Darling, don't go. Your mother doesn't want you anyway. If you were really welcome, then your stepdad would be told to stop watching TV late and give you the couch. Don't go. Enjoy your time with the people that love you. My brother and his wife have 2 toddlers. Due to a recent divorce and financial difficulties, I've been living with my brother and his wife for the past couple of months. His wife is not a fan of me staying with them, but she tolerates my presence for the sake of my brother, as I can tell. That, though, doesn't stop her from ordering me around the house and assigning me things to do, as I'm her servant. My brother defends her treating me like that and claims I should do my part too. I already do, but he claims that I don't do enough as a person who lives here too. My brother's wife had a horrible stomachache the other day, and my brother wanted to take her to the doctor. They asked me to watch the kids for a couple of hours until they came back, and I refused. I said I don't want to have this responsibility and that they should either take the kids with them, call an ambulance so his wife could go to the hospital and he could stay with the kids, or call our parents or her parents for help. My brother said, "But you're right here and we're in urgent need, please." I refused again. I said, "Not my kids, not my problem." They took the kids and drove them to my parents until they returned. My parents called me and said I was being ridiculous for refusing to help. I reminded them that I'm not responsible for these kids and I don't have to be. We argued about it and they said my brother was furious and I should be on my knees apologizing to him and his wife when they returned. They came home and my brother told me I had 2 days to pack my stuff up and find somewhere else to live because he was done with me being a parasite in his own house and villainizing him or his wife for expecting the slightest help and contribution around the house. That I crossed the line in an emergency and put my ego above their need for help. I defended myself, and I honestly don't believe I did something wrong. I said they have the right to disagree, but they have to respect my thoughts and feelings on this as well. He insisted I have 2 days to get my crap together or leave. I called my parents crying about what my brother and his wife were about to do, and they sided with him and said I had it coming. Was I really an idiot? You are the idiot. I said, "Not my kids, not my problem." Charming. Can you imagine where you'd be if they told you, "It's not our problem that you're broke and homeless," and just left you to it? Sister-in-law had a medical emergency, and instead of helping out, you acted like an idiot. So don't be surprised that they put you out. You are not their kid or their problem. And I think I have an idea as to why sister-in-law may be ordering you around and assigning you things to do. I'll bet you sit on your butt all day and contribute nothing towards their household, and she was likely sick of it. Gee, I wonder why you're divorced. And the crying to mommy and daddy made me laugh. Wah, I'm having to face the consequences of my actions. Wah. Me too. Also, I bet the divorce was in no way OP's fault, and they are 110% an innocent victim. OP, you're living rent-free, and you think you shouldn't have to help around the house? I get not watching their kids all the time, but you don't even do that, and this was an emergency. You were an unhelpful moocher, and then crying to your parents makes you seem immature. I, 36 male, have 2 kids with my ex-wife, Sarah, 35, a tween male and an older tween female. My ex and I have always done our best to be good co-parents for our kids. We are professional friendly and never really have a problem switching up the custody schedule to accommodate each other. We have 50-50 custody. I've been with my fiance, Emily, 37 female, for a few years now. My kids adore her, and she absolutely loves them. Sarah and Emily get along pretty well. There's never really been any tension or anything when they're around each other. Emily and I were throwing a get-together for people, which included some of my family. Since Sarah still gets along quite well with my family, we invited her so she could see them. At one point, Emily was across the room from me, and I saw my daughter go up to her and whisper something in her ear. Emily just nodded and led my daughter out of the room. They came back later, and that was that. After the party, Emily privately told me that my daughter had gotten her period for the first time. Of course, Sarah and I had already explained everything to her about all of that, so she wasn't freaked out or anything, but she had just asked Emily to come help her take care of everything since it was her first time. Well, when my ex-wife heard about it, she was angry. She was so offended that our daughter had gone to Emily instead of her. Emily told me privately that my daughter said she went to Emily instead of her mom because she knew that Emily would keep it private and not draw everyone's attention at the party. My daughter said she couldn't be sure her mom would do the same. Her mom doesn't always handle things the best way, and I could see her not just quietly slipping out of the room. Emily felt bad that Sarah was upset, but she was trying to keep my daughter comfortable. I told Sarah that I was sorry that she was upset, but that Emily was the one my daughter chose to go to, and that Sarah should be happy that there were 2 women around to support my daughter. Was I in the wrong? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. But I understand why your ex would be upset. She feels like her daughter chose Emily over her own mother. That had to be upsetting, even if there's a legitimate reason for the choice, and it sounds like there was. Hopefully, this just blows over. My mother announced it to everyone, including my siblings' male friends. Your daughter needs to be told she did what was right by her. Please don't let her mom make her feel she was wrong. Yep, my mom told all of her friends and my aunts because she was just too excited that I had become a woman. It was mortifying. I'd have gone to someone else too if I had the option, especially if I was at someone else's house and they knew where the products were. I stopped telling my mom things after I got sick of telling her something was a secret, only to overhear her telling someone on the phone. And when I complained, it was only Sarah, Jane, Amanda, and I didn't need to be upset. OP's ex only has themselves to blame and doesn't like it, so she's trying to blame Emily instead. Your ex is the problem. Your daughter doesn't trust her in the clinch, and the ex is mad about that. Your daughter made a choice based on her previous experience, and maybe this is a wake-up call for the mom that her reactions are too much for personal situations for her daughter. Your daughter is very lucky to have two amazing women in her life to whom she can turn. Likewise, you're lucky to have a fiance who adores your children, and they adore her. I, 61 male, am on vacation with my 3 kids, Alan, 22 male, Benjamin, 20 male, and Carla, teen female. The vacation consists of a trip across multiple countries in the Middle East, including a stop to perform a pilgrimage, and it's very hectic. Unfortunately, none of my children speak Arabic very well. My eldest son, Alan, has issues including anxiety and depression, to the extent that it's hard for him to handle a lot of the situations he might encounter on the trip if he were alone. My middle son and youngest daughter are both sick with the flu. Benjamin is recovering, while Carla's more on the downward trend. My health issues are digestive and back pain related. Now to the main issue. The trip has been strenuous on our mental health because of all the information above. I've spent most of the trip in bed or resting when possible, and I've entrusted Benjamin with the responsibility of caring for his siblings, resolving any disputes at the airport, checking us into the hotel, getting us food, etc. I also imposed a rule that nobody goes off on their own, and since they're an odd number, they go together whenever they go anywhere. Benjamin has again been instrumental in ensuring they don't get lost and remain together. Today, Alan went out on his own, left his phone in the hotel room, and got lost. Benjamin went out and was gone for a few hours to find him. My daughter and I were, of course, very tense, as Alan has a bad sense of direction, and God knows where he could have been. Benjamin returned with Alan and food for us, and we sat down to eat. Benjamin pulled out his phone and spent the majority of the meal on social media or texting his friends. And honestly, it just upset me. I wanted us to take this vacation to have more family time and bond. I told him to put the stupid phone down and just spend time with us. And he said, "I've spent enough time with you already, honestly." I felt really disrespected by this, but I didn't want to cause a scene. Later, we were going over the highlights and lowlights of the trip so far, and I mentioned that one of my lowlights was the way Benjamin had been acting. He snapped at me and went, "God, I'd hate to ruin your trip, Dad, sorry," super sarcastically, and went to the room he had his stuff in. Since then, he hasn't come out, and I'm honestly furious. I want this trip to be fun, and I feel like he's dragging it down for the whole family. My older son agrees that he's being irritating, while my daughter says that I need to be more compassionate with him. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Reading between the lines, your son didn't want to be on this trip. He did at first, but then you unilaterally saddled him with the burden of parenting his siblings. I'm also baffled at this rule of your children needing to be in pairs. Perhaps your youngest needs assistance, but the others are in their 20s. Young adults routinely go backpacking alone across multiple countries where they don't speak the language, but you're afraid of your children leaving the hotel for a few hours? Are you in an area that's so dangerous that this is necessary? And if so, why would you bring your entire family there? I'm guessing a lot is going on here with this family. LOL. Not only are you pushing your responsibility on one of your children, but you're also wondering why your son snapped at you after being on a trip even you described as exhausting. If I see anyone ruining this trip for your family, it's you. You keep saying how instrumental Benjamin is, but then throw a tantrum over him taking his mind off over dinner. Maybe he's irritated because you keep pushing responsibilities on him while he's still recovering from the flu, while you're resting when possible, just after he had to get his older brother because you wouldn't. You honestly sound like more of a tyrant than a father. My mom has a Christmas tradition, which is to get custom stockings of her grandchildren's names, Cody, Mia, Sammy, Elena, etc., and hang those stockings near the fireplace. My wife and I have been together for 3 years. She has a son, my stepkid, from her former marriage. When she learned about the tradition Mom has, she said she expects my stepson to get his custom stocking and be hanged along with the other kids' stockings. I asked my mom, and she said that she loves her step-grandchild, but does not feel comfortable yet having a stocking of his name and hanging it in her home. Apparently, my wife refused to drop it, chose it as a hill to die on, and even told me she would not be attending a Christmas party if Mom didn't do it. We started arguing about it for days. I finally blew up and told her it was not reasonable for me or her to dictate how my mom decorates her home and what stocking she hangs. She started crying and called me blind for not seeing how my family was treating my stepson. I said they love him and a stocking isn't going to prove anything. She said she wouldn't go then, and I called her ridiculous for deciding not to go over something so trivial. We've been in conflict about it since then, and she's refusing to even speak to me. Am I the idiot for saying that it was ridiculous for her to decide not to go over some stockings? Edit. My stepson is a young tween. Ho, ho, ho. Join in the Christmas spirit. Come one, come all. Well, not you, stepkid. You don't belong. Here are some coals you can go eat in the corner. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, you are the idiot. And your mama. 3 years isn't enough? Your mom's a real piece of work, and you're a real piece of work for supporting mom's BS. Your mother is singling out a child from a Christmas tradition that your family has. Your stepson is now part of your family. If your mom can't even bring herself to have a sock with his name on it, then your stepson deserves better than your family. It might only be a stocking to you, but to your wife and your stepson, it's going to look like a heck of a lot more than that. But she just doesn't feel comfortable hanging the stocking. It would make her feel very uncomfortable to hang a piece of fabric with an embroidered name on it beside other pieces of fabric with other names embroidered on them. I just don't know the stocking well enough yet. Not sure what it would do to the other stockings. Wow, the old Ben is not asked to gift half the family inheritance and the 17th century christening spoons to her step-grandchild just to treat a guest as included in the family for a few days to the tune of $10 or so. It looks like being shady pines for your retirement plans, so think about that. If your mom doesn't feel comfortable putting a stocking up for him, which really just sounds like an excuse to be exclusionary, she never will. Your wife is 100% right here. Your stepson will absolutely feel very hurt and left out if all the other grandkids get a nice customized stocking and he gets nothing. It's not about a decorating choice. It's about excluding a kid. I would never think to not include my step-grandchildren in any festivities. They are children, not responsible for their parents' decisions. To not include half, step, foster, and adopted children fully into the family is selfish, petty, and cruel. The Christmas spirit is lost on these people.